The Pasadena Rotary Club was formed in 1936 with its first president, Mr. H.A. Payne, Jr. Mr. Payne was in the real estate business in Houston. He decided to get some of his friends together and start the club. The original membership was around 30. Many of these businessmen attended the First United Methodist Church, and that's where the club still meets to this day.
It was the place to be if you were a businessman or a professional in Pasadena. And there were organizations that had a lot to do with the membership. Banks have always been very prominent in providing membership for the Rotary Club of Pasadena. In fact, the first Pasadena State Bank, which started in old Pasadena and later built a big Pasadena's only skyscraper at the corner of Southmore and Tartar. Tartar's now Pasadena Boulevard. But they always had a big influence through Mr. Jones, who was the president CEO of the bank. Mr. Kirk, who was his president for him, was a longtime member. And then there were always men who had their offices in that bank building. Jack Porterfield, the architect, past president of ours, he was a member. Don Carpenter, who ran AT&T at the time for this region, had the top 3 floors of the bank. All the board members of that bank, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Karkowski, Jack Anderson, they were members of the Rotary Club of Pasadena. It was the place to be, and that's kind of how things got going. Just members, businessmen recruiting other businessmen in other fields to just make Pasadena a better place.
Well, Rotary is about promoting international peace is one of the things that's on its international level is, but it's also bringing people together to work on a common goal of trying to help the community and make a better life for mankind.
The Pasadena Rotary Club has long been a place where friendships were started that have lasted for decades. For several in the Pasadena Club, it's a family tradition.
I grew up with Rotary. Really, my grandfather was a Rotarian, and so was my uncle in Beaumont. And I used to, as a teenager, go to lunch with them to the Rotary Club, and it was kind of interesting then. So that's where the roots are.
The way that I got into Rotary is it's kind of a family tradition. My dad was a Rotarian, and I heard the things that he was doing and how he enjoyed his time in Rotary. And so when I was old enough to join, I did. And that was probably back in the 1980s. And I have been a Rotarian ever since. And so the enjoyment of it is kind of like a networking club, except you're not there for sales. You're there to meet people, see people, and engage in projects to help the community and the rest of the world.
I guess you could say I was born into it. My dad was a Rotarian starting in 1952, and then I became a Rotarian in about 1981. So I was actually raised in it. There were Rotarians in my home all the time I was growing up.
The Pasadena Rotary Club was, for years, the second largest Rotary Club in the Houston area. And that meant they had some excellent speakers at their meetings, many of them famous, like Lyndon Johnson, Gordon Bethune, George H.W. Bush, and George W. when he was governor. Rotary is involved in helping people locally and throughout the world. Upon entering Pasadena, one of the first things you see is the welcome sign placed there by the Rotary Club. They also raised money for the Rotary Pavilion at Crenshaw Park, as well as built a very special playground.
The park is very special to me and to the community because it services not only able-bodied children, but also children that have special needs. And I had the opportunity to help pick out some of the equipment. Like there's a piece of equipment called a swing and sway where 4 wheelchairs will actually fit into it. The whole bottom of it's made out of recycled tires, so it has a cushion ground instead of wood chips or sand. It has numerous pieces of equipment that the children really enjoy, but it's a service for all the kids where they can interact and play together and nobody's left out.
Rotary has an international exchange student program that has formed lifelong friendships all around the world.
The International Exchange Student Program has been amazing. I have exchange student daughters in Istanbul, Turkey, in Malta, the Netherlands, in Argentina, and exchange son in Ibarra, Ecuador. And I go back and see them as part of the exchange. I figure if they can come and live with me, I can come stay with them. Last year, I went back to see our exchange daughter, and that's the way we refer to these kids, because you really do feel like they become part of your family. Went back to Malta, the Netherlands, and we stayed with her parents in her home, and they treated us like we were royalty. Went down to Ibarra, Ecuador this year and saw our exchange son named Edison, and we took him on a week trip to the Galapagos Islands, and then went back to his hometown and stayed with his parents. So it is a very rich and rewarding experience. Some people would feel like, hey, this is an intrusion in your home. It is not. It is a delight to have them in your house. The kids are good.
Rotary partnered with the Bill and Melissa Gates Foundation and raised millions of dollars to help eradicate polio. Since 1985, polio has dropped from 1,000 reported cases per day to just a few hundred per year worldwide.
The world today is virtually polio-free, and that has just really unlatched a lot of terror from the world. When I was growing up, there were times when my mother wouldn't let us go swimming in the summer, and we had to avoid crowds. And I do have friends who did experience polio, and the Polio Plus that Rotary did has helped to alleviate that from millions of children and adults around the world.
A lot of children were saved, and the rate of polio occurrence in countries around the world went down, has gone down and continues to go down to very, very few new cases now. So that, and we saw that from the very start, probably in the first 3 or 4 years. We saw that the project was going to really be a good one, and it has worldwide.
We contributed in a project called Children of the Dump, which was a group of children in poverty in Nicaragua, and their livelihood was dependent on what they could scavenge from a local dump. And since that time, Rotary has been involved, mainly has been a district effort rather than a local club, but many in our local club have been there.
They realized that the children of the dump in Nicaragua had no future except they were going to live hand to mouth off of what the generosity Rotarians were. So they went back and decided to put in a school there. And recently, I believe about 6 years ago, they had the first graduate, not of the high school there, but the first graduate of the Children of the Dump. She is a CPA down in Managua, and she has changed not only her life, but every life around her. So that is what Rotary is all about, is a true success story of impacting other people's lives.
And to see those children living in the dump, scrounging in the dump, going barefoot, with animals and syringes and just all kinds of medical and industrial waste. Just made me realize that the 3-hour plane ride that kind of thing was happening 3 hours from Houston was just heart-wrenching.
The children that you see that are living on the dump, it's painful to watch them. They're walking around this garbage dump barefooted. and you can imagine all the debris and glass and plastic that's there. In fact, they're harvesting plastic and glass to sell to recyclers so they can buy something to eat. And what Rotary has done is said, if you'll come to school, we'll clothe you, and we'll give you one hot meal a day. That's been a successful program in getting these children to come to school, get educated, and get fed. The before and after pictures are absolutely amazing. Kid walking around barefooted versus a kid in a school uniform with a bright smile on his face. It's a good sight. It really is.
The Dictionary Project puts dictionaries in the hands of students to help young minds increase their vocabulary.
We give a dictionary to every third grader in Pasadena Independent School District. And so in 2008 we started that, and we've done it every year since then, and it's been great. We get a lot of Rotarians involved in it, we get a lot of non-Rotarians involved in it, and the kids love the dictionaries.
We did the dictionary project, and I went to several different elementary schools and gave dictionaries, and it was just great because these kids are just like, this is for me, this is mine, and it's like, yeah, you get to write your name in it and everything.
Project Joy and Hope is in progress now, and the Pasadena Rotary Club is donating $150,000 to help families with children that have serious medical issues.
I myself personally donated a part of the land for that venture, and I just see our chance to be of service to families who come to Houston to bring their children to MD Anderson and other cancer treatment centers, and they have a residence that is sheltered and protected, and where their older brothers and sisters can go to a local school.
It's an excellent project. These people have, and the people have a lot of passion as to what they're doing and trying to assist these families in some real dire situations with usually their young kids and what have you. So I feel real good about what the Rotary Club's being able to do to try to achieve, to help them expand the facilities that they have now so that they can expand some of the help that they're giving to those people.
I can understand and deal with an older adult that has cancer, but for me it's very hard to deal with a child who has cancer or is going through any of those issues. A child should never have to do that. And at least with Project Joy and Hope, we can provide some comfort and help them feel at ease while they're going through those issues.
80 years of friendship and fellowship, helping people.
I've always believed that you should give back to the city that you make a living in or do business in or prosper in. And it's just a way one of our main things is to raise money and do projects, and that always makes you feel good.
It's a good organization. I have sat next to such wise people, and they let pearls of wisdom roll off their shoulder, and I have taken those to heart, and they've helped me in many situations in my life and specifically in my business.
My friend base, I guess, became as your Rotarians, you become friends with a tremendous amount of the club members, and I cherish those. I cherish those a great deal. I mean, it's very, I've learned I've learned things from other members within the Rotary Club about different facets of business. Just by sitting around and talking about how their business was and things that they have to do, things that they have to work at, things they have to achieve. And I've been able to take some of that stuff and take it back and use it at that time in the business that I had ongoing. So that the learning process has been that. But I'd say the relationships is probably the most cherished thing I have about Rotary.
Rotary was such a great kickstart for me, and there were so many great Rotarians that were role models and mentors, and really was such an integral part of building my credibility, but also developing me as a person. Heard so many great programs there, from Racehorse Haynes to Dick Marriott, right here at our local club. A lot of great programs that were with a lot of business principles involved, a lot of family principles involved, and just really helped round out and who I think I am.
It's a fantastic organization. It's Rotary, I think, would probably be the business equivalent to the United Nations. That's the one that brings back most, because things are done through those channels that even the United Nations cannot do. They've broken down barriers all over the world to help people and provided services for over 100 years now.
I think that you look at the world in a bigger picture, that all of a sudden you realize how fortunate we are, how blessed we are in this community, and how many ways that there are to help people that don't have the same benefits that perhaps some of us do. It broadened me to be a worldwide, to think more of the people that you never meet, never see, and just all the service projects have really been a joy to be a part of.
The Rotarians really, it's a selfless act. I think to be a Rotarian, it's more for doing for others. It's just a great organization to be a member of.
Rotary is a way for you to help others in a group setting. Something so you can do things that you might not be able to do by yourself. Project Joy and Hope, perfect example. You know, we raise money, a lot of money for that. It's something that you know I wouldn't necessarily been able to participate in such a big way. And so the Dictionary Project's the same way. We touch a lot of lives through that, and so that it just gives you the vehicle to help a lot of people.
The most important part about Rotary is, number one, it's camaraderie, friendship. It is a networking organization, so if you're looking to grow your business, Rotary would be for you. But I think the most important part is the service, and you have the ability to give back not only to your home community, but to the world community. And that's what Rotary is all about, is giving back to those less fortunate.
There is no better way of keeping your spirits up than helping someone who has no ability to help you back. That is the essence of morality. That is the essence of compassion. That is the essence of character. And it feels funny at first because it's a lot of effort, it's a lot of work. But as time goes by, you will find no better way of making an impact in your community and establishing your reputation than by doing things for others. And if you join Rotary, you will have an opportunity to do that in a number of different fashions. You will enjoy yourselves. You will have more friends, more fellowship, a tremendous amount of fun, whether it's the fish fry on an annual basis that Rotary does, or any of the Salvation Army bell ringing that we do. The Rotary Club stays the same in its spirit and its essence, which is service above self. We help the community. We do things for others. And there is no better tonic for yourself than to help somebody else.
It's a great avenue to serve your community, and you're unified with clubs all over the world to do projects. It's that great. And I would say, if you're not a member now, become one. It's a great organization.
Truthful, fair, building goodwill, and beneficial to so many people in Pasadena and around the world. Your Pasadena Rotary Club.